Okay, um, so here's a quick video on ORB, opening range breakout. It's a pretty simple strategy. I've used it off and on over the few years. Um, I have my other strategy, break of structure, fair value gaps. I have flip-flop between those two, and just using levels too is another way to play. But I flip-flop between that because I get bored. So just but I'm always, if you find something that works, stick with it. But once you get to a point where you're more profitable than you are um, on the loss side, um, you can have, I always call it fun. So anyway, or simple strategy, opening range breakout. I'm just going to do it from a replay here. It'll be easier, and I'll pause it and go through it and try to keep it simple. So here we go. So this is SPX actually. Hold on, before I go any further. Yes, yeah, obviously you can see SPX. Okay, good. And this is what I did today. I hit SPX today, and that was a pretty good day. So let's go through. All right. So what you want to do is mark your 15-minute, on the 15-minute time frame. Mark your first 15-minute candle, the high and low. That's your opening range. Um, it's a constant every day from 8:30 to 8:45 or 9:30 to 9:45, depending on where you're at. You're going to get your opening range. Okay, super simple. So once you get your opening range, I drop down to the 15-minute. I'm sorry, to the 5-minute, and I know there are other, I believe, people who on YouTube, because I've watched several videos on this before, and it's like I said, super simple. That play different time frames. I prefer the 15 and the 5. All right, so then I drop down to the 5. Now I have my high and my low. First 15 minutes right here. Here's my 15 minute. So now on this candle now I have to determine, are we going to break the opening low and go down further, or are we going to go up and possibly either test and break the opening high. But so now that we have several candles touching down here, I'm looking for a break up. Okay, so on a whim, um, really more of a whim, but just knowing that this candle here, when you have a candle of significance spinning top at a level of resistance, support, high or low, it usually means something that's reversal. So I jumped in on this candle here, and I'm looking for a play up. This usually I wait till confirmation on the second candle to see where it's at, if we're going to stay at this level, because right now I still don't know, even though we're bullish on this candle right here, if we are going to go up or if we're going to eventually on the maybe next candle break down. So I'm going to go ahead and play. And wow, stopped right at 10, so let it play through one more. I had exited the trade though at this time. Uh, Gamma was part of the reason, and I cannot show you Gamma, so I'll have to do this through YouTube so I can have my Gamma screens up at the same time. Okay, so anyway, I exited at this point right here. Made a quick buck on the little run up. So usually what you're looking for is, now that this happens and we're bouncing here, now I'm expecting a retest of this and a bounce, or a retest and the break. Because that's typically what happens. Since we had no candles touching up here at the top, we have stayed away from the opening high. We are not, unless we continued up right here, looking for a bounce, a test, or break. We're starting to trend back down. So I'll go ahead and play it. And I probably need to speed this up. I'm going to let it go. I'll explain what's going on here. Now I'm still at this point expecting a retest of the low, which we have not had yet. So I'm going to let it go, let it go, let it go. We all know what happens though today. and I'll stop it right there. Okay, so I went ahead and entered here because I thought for sure we were going to drop down at this point and retest and break because we were staying bearish. Gamma was pointing at a specific target on the low side. Drift was also pointing to a specific target on the low side. So what I'm looking for here was at this point. So I entered here and we did not, but I set a stop loss up here because unless this candle breaks the high of all these candles, which it did not, I'm not too concerned about it reversing yet. Okay, so watching still here, obviously, and then when we get to here, now here's the point where it matters. Do you break or do you retest and bounce? Now, typically, you would wait at this point to enter after you get a confirmation that you are going lower. And this would be your confirmation. We are not touching this anymore. We now have confirmation right here that we are breaking lower. So I'm going to go ahead, let's speed it up a little bit. So at this point, I am staying in this trade. And let's do this real quick. Turn the 9 on. Following 9 and setting changing my stop loss, and at the same time uh, taking profit at different points. Now, um, something that I will tell you that is more beneficial if you're going to do SPY, at least for me, are SPX. And we're going to go, I'm going to go ahead and stop it, but I pretty much exit the trade here, even though we had more to go, but that's where I left the trade. So it was a beautiful trade. Perfect setup for ORB. Beautiful. But however, this time period here, this took an hour. So I had tomorrow's expiration because having today's expiration, having that hour, the clock starts running, I forget what time, and I think different brokerages are, no, actually, I believe that's from the market makers themselves. Anyway, the clock starts ticking and Theta starts eating. So if you're not moving, you're losing. Um, so that was pretty risky if you were doing zero. But because I don't know if anybody knows, but sometimes these plays, you think by the time the market is done, which is usually 10:30, 11, when you start getting interday and lunchtime. But this move happened all through the rest of the day. So there you go. But that's pretty much ORB opening breakout. Let's do, how much time do I have? 8 minutes. I think I can do show one more stock real quick. SPY would be basically the same thing. Now was a good one too. So we're on the 15. Yeah, this is I was using this one today. This one was pretty quick to mark out because this showed up fast, a high and low. So you knew before the 15 minutes was even up. Got down to the 5. Pretty basic. Kept testing down here. So now we're looking for breaks up to here. Once you had this break, it was above here. I didn't have to wait for this candle to show up. I did play this because I'm also in it for a longer call. But I did do calls. This one was this took a little bit here for it to break, but because it stayed above the 9 and kept retesting the high, I stayed in it till about here, and that's when I got out. So that was a nice little run. Yep, and easy. Now I could have got back in and played puts back down with this break here, and then once you get this confirmation where you're not touching your high or low, either down here or here where you're away from it, that's your confirmation to jump in for puts, and then you can just watch the 9. And gamma though, this is where gamma, I can't show you gamma, but this helps give you your levels. And gamma on this today pinpointed each level, same on SPX. And I'll have to point that out and show you what I'm talking about because SPX will show a range, but that's because people are stacked on both sides. But that's for another day. All right. Well, hope this helps. Enjoy.